What's up, guys? This is Chris from the Moro Pack, and today we're going to be doing a review of the AK-12 assault rifle in Battlefield 4. So let's go ahead and dive in. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the attachments that Battlefield gives you when you first spawn in, I guess, when you get the game and start playing. All the starter weapons, really, they give you some attachments to use. Like, I think on here they have, I'm running with a couple different ones, but they give you at least a sight on all of the first guns that you have. So I like that they did that, because that makes it a little bit easier to kind of break into the game in general and break into each weapon. So especially the Cobra scope, Cobra RDS, red dot sight scope that they give you for the AK-12, it's a very nice scope for the gun, because as you can see, it isn't like a traditional red dot scope where it's a dot on the screen. It kind of, the sight allows for a little bit of bullet deviation, which is kind of nice, so you get a general idea of where you're going to be hitting, but you're not precisely hitting it, or precisely hitting it, like you're not really precisely hitting exactly on a dot versus some other weapons. But at the same time, this weapon doesn't really deviate very much. It's very easy to control, it's very low recoil, and you'll see from the footage here that most of my kills that I get are from a distance, like medium to long range. They're not really very close quarter shots, although it does work depending on how you fire the weapon, and I'll explain that in a couple minutes. But it's a very, overall, it's not a very good weapon for close range. That would be more of a higher RPM weapon, which is rounds per minute. It doesn't fire very fast. This gun fires very, very slowly. But at the same time, there's very little recoil, so it's easy to control, especially for those long range kills. That helps, and there's not very much bullet drop or deviation. So when you're, like, you'll see in a second here when I run out here and I'll start shooting people that are like all the way on the other side of the map there, and it's really easy to get kills. Okay, maybe it's later. I thought it was this part, but maybe, oh no, I get revived, okay. I mean, even like that was medium, close-ish range, and it's just the way that you fire it matters a lot. Like, you might have noticed, you might have not noticed, but I'm using the weapon on burst fire. So it fires 3 rounds, I think, and you just repeatedly click the fire button to have it shoot. That is very, very useful for long range and medium range, and even close range it helps, because what it does is when you fire the weapon traditionally on full auto, it has a lower RPM output than it does when you fire it on burst fire. I don't know the exact numbers, but it shoots very much faster if you know what you're doing with it, and I don't think I've mastered it, but I have it down, I think, pretty good, especially with these longer range kills, because when you're firing burst, you can get a couple shots off without having to just mag dump, just deplete your entire clip. You can fire a few shots at a time without having any, like, crazy loss of ammo. And every time you fire, it fires a 3-round burst, and then it resets any recoil that was already existing, which again is not very much on this gun, but that's invaluable in general, especially for this gun. Other guns, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Like, this gun would never be able to compete with a much faster firing weapon like an AK or like the M16 A3s from Battlefield 3. It would never, no matter what you do with it, it would never be able to compete at close range. But for this weapon specifically, and there are a few others, just kind of the slower firing weapons in general, burst fire is definitely a more recommended shooting setting, I guess you could call it. But yeah, I mean, my overall consensus with this gun is it's just I'm really enjoying using it, and it was a lot of fun getting this gameplay. It wasn't really that difficult for me. I mean, I've always been kind of good with assault rifles in general, for Battlefield 3 anyways. And since the dynamics of the gunplay, they've improved, but they haven't drastically changed for Battlefield 4, so you're able to retain a level of skill that you had in Battlefield 3. And especially with, like, I mean, this gun just laser beams. It's it's pretty crazy once you get good with it, what you can do. Like here you can kind of see, like in a close quarters situation, it's not a great weapon, but depending on the specific situation, it's just kind of a case-by-case basis. It's not really that bad. So that pretty much wraps up the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Chris, signing off.